Secretary Karoline Leavitt's fiery attack on Maryland Senator over El Salvador visit. Washington, D.C., April 2020. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt has launched a blistering attack on Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen, calling out his controversial trip to El Salvador. Van Hollen traveled to the Central American nation with the aim of meeting Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a man who was deported last month by the Trump administration, despite a U.S. Supreme Court ruling ordering his return. Leavitt wasted no time in her press briefing, criticizing Van Hollen for undermining American law and defying the will of the American people. She doubled down on the Trump administration's stance, emphasizing that Garcia had ties to the MS-13 gang and labeling him as a terrorist. "There is no Maryland father," Leavitt stated, referencing the way Garcia had been portrayed in the media. She also repeated the administration's firm position that Abrego Garcia would be immediately deported again if he were allowed back into the U.S. Nothing will change the fact that Abrego Garcia will never be a Maryland father. He will never live in the United States of America again, she firmly declared. The tension has escalated in the U.S. over Garcia's deportation, a case that has become a flashpoint in the ongoing debate about immigration and legal authority. Van Hollen's trip to El Salvador was an attempt to gather information and verify Garcia's condition after his removal, which many legal experts say violated not just national law, but international agreements. "This case is a constitutional crisis," Van Hollen told The Guardian before his departure. "We need to know why the Trump administration ignored a Supreme Court order." Upon arriving in San Salvador, however, Van Hollen was blocked from meeting Garcia, as Vice President Felix Ulloa of El Salvador refused to grant permission to visit the infamous gang-controlled prison where Garcia is being held. The debate over Garcia's deportation is dividing American politics. Democrats argue that the Trump administration's actions disregarded legal rulings, while Republicans defend the deportation as a necessary step to protect American citizens from the threat of violent gangs. During the briefing, Leavitt also used a special guest appearance to bring attention to another emotionally charged issue. Patty Morin, the mother of a woman tragically murdered in 2023, shared the heart-wrenching details of her daughter's death. Leavitt referenced this emotional testimony to highlight the administration's dedication to protecting Americans from crime, despite the disconnect with the Abrego Garcia case. In other political news, Donald Trump proposed an incentive program offering money to immigrants who voluntarily leave the U.S., with the possibility of self-deportation, allowing those who meet certain criteria to re-enter the country legally at a later time. The proposal has sparked outrage among many Democrats and immigrant advocates who see it as yet another hardline tactic. Further, the IRS is considering rescinding Harvard University's tax-exempt status, citing violations of regulations governing nonprofit organizations. The move has triggered discussions about the financial influence of elite institutions and their role in political agendas. Meanwhile, the Department of Health and Human Services is facing a proposed $40 billion budget cut, leading to concerns over the future of essential public services, especially in the midst of a national health crisis.